I awoke beside alien nurse. She just smiled and said you talked in your sleep. The cold wind whipped across the barren landscape of the planet, carrying tiny particles of red dust that stung the skin. Captain Rylan adjusted his visor and scanned the horizon with his multispectral goggles. The planet was uninhabited, at least according to official records, but his sensors had picked up a faint energy signature nearby. Curiosity and the instinct to investigate drove him forward. He trudged across the rocky terrain, each step kicking up a cloud of crimson dust. The signal led him to a hidden research facility, half buried under jagged rocks and sand. Its structure was alien, unlike anything humans had built before, yet its doors were cracked, showing signs of neglect or abandonment. Ryland's pulse quickened. Something alive had been here recently. Cautiously, he approached the entrance. His hand hovered over the sidearm at his hip, though he doubted anyone or anything hostile would remain here. As he stepped inside, the temperature dropped suddenly, and his breath fogged in the dim light. The walls glimmered faintly, lined with panels that pulsed in soft blue and green. Then he saw it, a containment field in the center of a circular chamber, shimmering with energy, and inside, a figure. She was unlike any being Rylan had ever seen. Her skin was smooth and faintly luminescent, shifting colors with the faintest movement, like liquid light. Her eyes glowed softly, large and curious, filled with both fear and intelligence. She was bound by the field, unable to move freely. Thin tendrils of light wrapped around her, restricting her motions. Ryland felt a surge of empathy. He stepped closer, kneeling by the edge of the field. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said softly. The alien woman's head tilted, observing him. She made a series of melodic hums that vibrated through the room. His AI companion, embedded in his helmet, translated them imperfectly. "Captured danger help," Ryland frowned. "Captured by who?" he asked aloud, though he knew the answer would not come clearly. The AI, named KAI, scanned the field. "This containment unit is old but highly advanced," KAI said. "It uses energy frequency to restrain life forms." "Tampering could be dangerous, Captain." Ryland studied the controls. He had been trained to improvise in unpredictable situations, and something told him this was one of them. He took a deep breath and reached out, placing his hand near the console. Sparks jumped as he bypassed the security protocols, and the energy field flickered. The alien woman recoiled slightly but did not retreat entirely. She watched him, as though gauging his intent. Ryland's fingers moved quickly, rerouting power and creating a temporary shutdown of the field. With a soft hiss, the shimmering energy surrounding her vanished, leaving her free. She stumbled slightly, weak from captivity, but she was free. Relief washed over Ryland, followed by awe. She looked at him with eyes wide and bright, and for a moment there was an unspoken understanding between them. "You're safe now," Ryland said, offering his hand. She regarded it for a moment, then placed her delicate fingers in his. Her touch was warm, almost comforting, though she seemed unfamiliar with physical contact. KAI's voice was cautious. "Captain, we must remain vigilant. This being may have powers or abilities we cannot predict. Its species is unknown." Ryland nodded, keeping his attention on her. "I'll be careful, I just couldn't leave her like that." The alien woman made another melodic sound, softer this time, almost like a sigh. She gestured toward the room's exit, then back at Ryland. KAI interpreted, "Trust, follow." Ryland guided her toward the ship parked just outside the facility. The journey back was quiet, save for the occasional hum from the alien and the soft wind outside. She walked slowly, her movements elegant despite weakness, and occasionally glanced at the red sand beneath her feet, fascinated by its texture. When they reached the ship, Ryland activated the interior lights. The alien woman froze for a moment, her eyes widening as the artificial brightness filled the cabin. It was a strange, sterile environment compared to the glowing walls of the facility, yet she seemed curious rather than frightened. "I can make you comfortable here," Ryland said. "We'll get you out of this place far from danger." She tilted her head again and KAI translated, "Danger many," Ryland frowned. "You mean your people or something else?" The alien woman shook her head slowly. "Hunters, they took me." Ryland's jaw tightened. "Hunters, you mean like bounty hunters, or soldiers?" She made another sound, rapid and melodic. KAI processed it. "Experiment, control, energy." Ryland's heart sank. She had been captured for her abilities. Something in her species could manipulate energy in ways humans could barely comprehend. Whoever had imprisoned her had wanted to exploit that power. He felt a surge of anger but pushed it down. Now wasn't the time to dwell on vengeance. The priority was safety. He led her to a small bunk and helped her sit. She watched the cabin, curious but cautious, and for the first time she touched the crystal-like console on the wall. It glimmered under her fingers, and the cabin lights flickered faintly in response. Ryland noted this silently. Her abilities were already affecting the ship systems in subtle ways. "Don't worry," he said softly, kneeling beside her. "We'll figure this out together." Her glowing eyes softened. She emitted a low, melodic hum that seemed almost like a laugh. Ryland couldn't help but smile. Even after all she had endured, there was a spark of life and hope in her. Night fell outside, and the barren planet seemed colder, emptier. Ryland set the ship to low power, conserving energy, and watched the alien woman as she explored the cabin cautiously. She moved with curiosity, touching surfaces lightly, her eyes wide and reflective. Eventually, she stopped near the window, looking out at the endless red plains. Her hum was softer now, almost contemplative. Ryland stood beside her quietly. "They must have wanted to use you," he said, "but you're free now. No one can take you again." She turned to him slowly, her glowing eyes meeting his. A single phrase resonated through the cabin, translated imperfectly by KAI, "Thank freedom." Ryland felt a strange warmth in his chest. He hadn't expected gratitude to feel so powerful. It wasn't just relief or kindness. It was connection, something deeper than words could express. A sudden vibration drew his attention. The alien woman touched a pendant hanging around her neck which glimmered faintly. It pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, sending tiny sparks of energy across her skin. Ryland stepped closer, mesmerized by the glow. "What is that?" he asked. She tilted her head, her eyes bright with unspoken meaning. KAI's translation struggled. "Gift, help, future." Before Ryland could question her further, the pendant's glow faded, leaving only a soft shimmer in her eyes. The mystery lingered, filling the cabin with a quiet tension. Ryland realized that freeing her was only the beginning. This was not just a rescue mission. It was the start of something much larger, something he could not yet understand. He glanced at the alien woman, sensing intelligence, power, and a story that stretched beyond the stars. As the night deepened, Ryland sat quietly, keeping watch. The alien woman rested, her form glowing faintly in the low light, a symbol of both vulnerability and strength. Outside, the planet was silent, but inside the ship, something new had begun. A fragile bond between a human and an alien, one that might change the course of both their futures. Ryland knew one thing for certain. This was only the first step. Whatever came next, he would face it. Together. And as he closed his eyes for a brief moment of rest, the pendant around her neck pulsed ever so faintly, as if signaling that the real journey had just begun. The next morning, the planet's red sun rose slowly over the jagged horizon, casting long shadows across the barren landscape. Captain Ryland was preparing the ship for a routine survey of nearby terrain when a flicker on the sensors caught his attention. A small energy signature was moving toward the landing site, something he didn't recognize immediately. Before he could investigate further, a soft humming filled the cabin. Ryland turned sharply, and his eyes widened. The alien woman he had freed yesterday was standing near the doorway, holding something small in her hands. It glowed with a gentle, rhythmic light that pulsed like a heartbeat. She did not speak, but her eyes held a strange intensity. Slowly, she extended the object toward him. Rylan instinctively stepped forward, and KAI's calm voice filled his helmet. Captain, the object's energy signature is unfamiliar. It may be sentient or dangerous. Proceed with caution. Rylan took a deep breath and reached out to accept the gift. The moment his fingers brushed the surface, a warm sensation traveled up his arm, and a brief vision flashed behind his eyes. Stars swirling in distant galaxies, planets orbiting suns in intricate patterns, civilizations with structures he had never imagined, all connected by streams of glowing energy. He stumbled back, breathless, trying to comprehend what he had seen. The alien woman hummed softly, almost patiently, as if encouraging him to understand. KAI analyzed the object. Captain, the energy levels are off any known human scale. This could be a repository of knowledge, or a key to technology far beyond current human understanding. Ryland's mind raced. This was not just a gift, it was a responsibility. Whoever or whatever had given it to him, or rather she had given it, had chosen him to hold it. The implications were staggering. He realized that freeing her yesterday had been only the first step in a much larger story. He glanced at the alien woman. Her expression was unreadable, yet there was a sense of calm and trust in her glowing eyes. She gestured toward the ship's control console and then back at the pendant in her hand. KAI translated imperfectly. Learn, protect, use. Rylan nodded slowly. He placed the glowing crystal carefully on the console. Immediately, the ship's systems responded. Lights flickered softly, then stabilized with a new, faintly blue hue. The engines hummed with a subtle energy, as if recognizing the crystal's presence. "This is incredible," Rylan whispered. "It's like it's alive." The alien woman moved closer, her steps deliberate and cautious. Her fingers hovered over the crystal, but she did not touch it directly. Instead, she hummed a tune that resonated through the cabin. Ryland felt the vibrations, subtle but powerful, and noticed that the crystal's glow pulsed in time with the melody. "Captain," KAI said, "the crystal may have a form of communication. Its energy patterns are responding to her presence. Perhaps it is choosing to interact with her, and through her with you." Ryland nodded, fascinated. "Then we need to figure out how it works, carefully." He spent hours observing the crystal, testing its interactions with the ship systems. When he tried to interface with the console, the crystal responded to his thoughts in a way that felt almost natural. It seemed to anticipate his intentions, guiding him subtly. Ryland realized this was not just an object. It was a tool, a teacher, and possibly a protector. As the day progressed, Ryland noticed faint blips on the long-range sensors. Small, distant ships were approaching, their energy signatures unfamiliar but distinct. He frowned. "Captain," KAI warned, "these readings suggest incoming vessels. They are not part of any known human fleet. They may have detected the crystal's energy pulse." Ryland's heart sank. The moment he had freed the alien woman and she had given him the crystal, she had also drawn attention he could not fully understand or defend against yet. He looked at her, worry written across his face. She tilted her head, her glowing eyes reflecting calm reassurance. KAI interpreted, "Do not fear, trust the gift." Ryland clenched his jaw. He had always faced danger before, but this felt different. These ships were not just threats. They were unknown, potentially far more advanced than anything humanity had encountered. Yet, there was something about the alien woman, about the crystal, that gave him hope. Suddenly, the ship's alarms blared. Energy readings from the crystal spiked dramatically, and the approaching vessels changed course, closing in faster. The alien woman stepped forward and placed her hand lightly on the crystal. A wave of energy emanated from it, washing over the cabin. Ryland felt a surge of warmth and strength, as though the crystal was shielding them from harm. The approaching ships hesitated, their sensors unable to penetrate the protective wave. Ryland stared in awe. The alien woman had not only given him a gift, but also the means to defend themselves. KAI's voice was filled with cautious excitement. "Captain, the crystal's energy appears responsive to human neural patterns. You may be able to interface directly with it, controlling its defensive capabilities." Rylan hesitated, then reached out and touched the crystal. A rush of information flooded his mind. Star charts, energy patterns, defensive maneuvers, and strategies he had never learned. It was overwhelming, but he instinctively understood the basics. He could manipulate the crystal to create shields, redirect energy, and even influence the ship's systems remotely. The alien woman's hum grew stronger, guiding him through the process. Her trust in him was absolute, and he felt an unspoken connection forming, a bond that transcended species and language. As the alien fleet hovered at the edge of the planet's atmosphere, testing the limits of the crystal's shield, Rylan realized something remarkable. Humans, with their adaptability, creativity, and instinct, were uniquely suited to wield this power. Aliens may have the knowledge, but humans had the unpredictability and courage that the crystal seemed to respond to. Hours passed as Rylan experimented cautiously, learning to control the crystal's energy. The alien woman watched silently, offering guidance only when necessary. Together, they created a small, protective dome around the ship, invisible to the approaching fleet but strong enough to repel energy scans. Finally, the alien ships retreated, circling the planet at a distance but no longer attempting to attack. Rylan exhaled, exhausted but exhilarated. He looked at the alien woman whose eyes glowed softly in the dim light. "You saved us," he said quietly. "Or maybe we saved each other." She tilted her head and KAI translated, "Together, always." Rylan nodded, realizing the truth in her words. The crystal was more than a gift. It was a bridge between their species, a symbol of trust and partnership. Whoever had captured her had underestimated humans, and now that miscalculation had given Rylan a chance to prove humanity's resilience and ingenuity. As night fell again, the alien woman placed the crystal carefully back around her neck. Its glow was softer now, like a heartbeat in rhythm with hers. Rylan sat nearby, keeping watch, feeling a strange mix of awe and responsibility. He knew the challenges were far from over. The alien fleet might return, and other dangers could emerge. But for the first time, he felt that humanity had something unique to offer, a courage, a creativity, and a heart that could stand against unknown powers. And as he watched the alien woman hum quietly, a melody that seemed to fill the cabin with light and hope, he understood one simple truth. The gift she had given him was not just the crystal, but a glimpse of what humanity could become in the galaxy. Outside, the red planet remained silent, vast, and unchanging. But inside the small cabin, a partnership had formed, one that promised adventure, discovery, and the kind of courage that would define humanity's place among the stars. Rylan closed his eyes briefly, feeling the energy of the crystal and the presence of the alien woman beside him. He knew that the next step of their journey was uncertain, dangerous, and thrilling. But for the first time, he felt ready. Together, they could face whatever awaited them. The crystal pulsed softly in the quiet, a reminder that the real adventure had only just begun. The calm after the retreat of the alien fleet did not last long. Captain Ryland sat in the cockpit, his eyes fixed on the glowing crystal pendant around the alien woman's neck. The air inside the ship was tense with anticipation. He had learned to trust her, and she had shown him that humans could interact with the crystal in ways her own species could not. But the fleet outside the planet's orbit was still watching, silent and patient, waiting for the right moment. Ryland stood and moved toward the observation window. The alien ships hovered like dark silhouettes against the red sky, each one bristling with energy weapons and sensors. They had the advantage in numbers and technology, yet they had not attacked. That hesitation gave him hope. Humanity had a chance here if he could unlock the crystal's full potential. The alien woman approached and touched the crystal lightly. The glow intensified, radiating warmth and a subtle hum that filled the cabin. KAI spoke quickly, analyzing the energy patterns. Captain, the crystal's response is unusual. It seems to resonate with human neural activity, but in combination with the alien presence, the energy output is amplified. You may be able to control it directly. Rylan took a deep breath and extended his hand to the crystal. The moment he made contact, his mind was flooded with images and sensations, star maps, energy streams, tactical formations, and alien technology designs. It was overwhelming, but he focused on the basics. He visualized a defensive barrier around the ship, and to his amazement, a shimmering dome of energy materialized, invisible to the naked eye but powerful enough to deflect energy scans from the alien fleet. The alien woman hummed in approval, guiding him with subtle gestures and melodic cues. Rylan began to understand that the crystal was not just a gift, it was a tool that required cooperation between species. The alien alone could not wield it fully. A human mind was necessary to unlock its full potential. Hours passed as he experimented with the crystal. He discovered he could manipulate the ship systems, redirect power to shields, and even interfere with the sensors of the approaching fleet. The alien woman watched closely, offering guidance only when needed. Her trust in him was absolute, and he felt a bond forming stronger than words could describe. Suddenly, a warning blared from the ship's sensors. A new wave of alien ships had appeared on the far side of the planet, faster and more numerous than the previous group. Rylan's pulse quickened. He realized that the first fleet had been merely a reconnaissance team, testing the crystal's limits. Now the main force was arriving. "Captain," KAI said, "their energy readings indicate advanced weapons, potentially capable of breaching our shields." "We must act quickly," Rylan nodded. He placed both hands on the crystal and focused. The alien woman joined him, placing her hand over his, and together they synchronized their intentions. A surge of energy emanated from the pendant, enveloping the ship in a protective bubble that extended several meters beyond the hull. The alien ships hesitated as their scans failed to penetrate the barrier. For the first time, Rylan realized something extraordinary. Humans were uniquely compatible with this power. The alien species that created the crystal could manipulate energy, yes, but their methods were rigid and precise. Humans, with their unpredictability, creativity, and emotional instincts, could interact with the crystal in ways the aliens could not anticipate. Rylan smiled, feeling a surge of confidence. "They may have the numbers, KAI, but we have something they don't," he said quietly. "We have the human edge." KAI analyzed the energy patterns. "Captain, the crystal's response is indeed stronger than anticipated. You may be able to disable the alien ships without direct conflict." Rylan nodded and focused again. He visualized a series of energy pulses spreading outward, targeting the alien ships, weapon systems, and engines. The crystal responded instantly, sending waves of force through space that disrupted the enemy fleet's coordination. The alien ships faltered, their formations breaking as their systems glitched. The alien woman hummed a long, melodic note of approval. She had placed her trust in him, and together they were turning the tide. Rylan realized that this was more than a defensive maneuver. The crystal allowed him to communicate, not just with the ship but with the universe itself. He could send pulses of energy, signals, and warnings, influencing systems far beyond their immediate location. It was as if the crystal was teaching him the hidden language of energy that the alien species had mastered long ago, but with a human twist. The alien fleet, realizing that their usual tactics were ineffective, hesitated further. Rylan saw an opportunity. He focused on one of the lead ships and extended a pulse of energy that disabled its propulsion temporarily. The ship drifted helplessly, unable to maneuver. The rest of the fleet watched, cautious and curious. KAI's voice was full of excitement. "Captain, your control of the crystal is exceptional. You may be able to negotiate or assert dominance without engaging in battle." Rylan nodded, understanding the stakes. Humanity had always relied on ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability to survive. Here, on this distant planet, those qualities were giving him an advantage no alien technology could match. He glanced at the alien woman, whose eyes glowed softly. She was calm, patient, and guiding him with subtle cues, yet it was his instincts and creativity that allowed them to succeed. He realized then what the crystal had chosen him for. It was not just a weapon or tool. It was a test of character, intelligence, and courage. Whoever had captured the alien woman had underestimated humans, but now that mistake was turning the tide. Hours passed as they refined their control over the crystal. The alien woman hummed continuously, her melodic voice synchronizing with the energy flows. Rylan experimented with creating protective barriers, redirecting energy attacks, and even sending small signals to confuse the alien fleet. Each attempt strengthened his confidence and his bond with her. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the alien fleet began to retreat, circling the planet at a cautious distance. They had witnessed something unexpected. Humans, unpredictable and resourceful, wielding a power they could not fully comprehend. Rylan exhaled, exhaustion and relief washing over him. He turned to the alien woman, whose glow was softer now, as if acknowledging the end of the immediate threat. "You did it," he said quietly. "We did it, together." She tilted her head and hummed a soft note. KAI translated, "Together, always. Human strength, unique." Rylan smiled, feeling the truth in her words. Humans had always relied on their creativity, courage, and resilience to overcome challenges. Here, on this distant planet, those qualities had allowed him to unlock the crystal's true potential and protect the alien woman. He realized that the gift she had given him, the crystal, was more than just an object. It was a symbol of trust, a tool for cooperation, and a bridge between their species. Whoever had captured her had underestimated humanity's ingenuity and adaptability, but that mistake had given Rylan a chance to prove their worth. As night fell, Rylan and the alien woman sat quietly in the cabin. The red sun had disappeared below the horizon, leaving the barren landscape in darkness. The crystal glowed softly, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat, a reminder of the connection they shared. Rylan knew that this was not the end. The alien fleet might return, and other dangers could emerge. But he also knew that humanity had something unique to offer, a combination of courage, creativity, and heart that could stand against unknown powers. For the first time, he felt a profound sense of purpose. The crystal, the alien woman, and the bond they shared were guiding him toward something greater than survival. They were shaping the future, a future where humanity could hold its own among the stars. As he closed his eyes briefly, feeling the warmth of the crystal and the presence of the alien woman beside him, Rylan understood one simple truth. The real adventure had only begun. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and wonders, and humanity's journey was just starting. The alien woman hummed quietly, a melody that filled the cabin with light and hope. Rylan felt a surge of determination. Together they could face whatever awaited them, not just as allies, but as partners in a universe that was far larger and stranger than he had ever imagined. And outside, the red planet remained silent, unchanging, vast, and mysterious. Yet inside the small cabin, a partnership had formed that promised courage, discovery, and the kind of human ingenuity that could shape the fate of worlds. The red planet's horizon glowed faintly as the distant alien fleet returned, larger and more organized than before. Captain Ryland stood at the observation window, hands clenched, eyes fixed on the approaching ships. The alien woman stood beside him, calm and radiant, her crystal pendant glowing with soft pulses that seemed to mirror her heartbeat. Ryland felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The previous encounter had revealed humanity's unique compatibility with the crystal, but now they faced the full force of the alien fleet. He knew that brute force alone would not win this battle. Strategy, creativity, and trust in the alien woman and in himself would be their key. He placed a hand on the crystal. Immediately, energy surged through him, filling the cabin with a warm, vibrating light. The alien woman joined him, placing her hand over his. A connection formed, not just of energy, but of understanding and purpose. KAI analyzed the readings, its voice calm but urgent. "Captain, the crystal's energy is at peak resonance. You may be able to influence the fleet without direct combat. Coordination between you and the alien woman is critical." Ryland nodded, focusing his thoughts. He imagined the alien ships slowing, their weapons disarmed without causing harm. The crystal responded instantly, radiating waves of energy that spread through space like invisible tendrils. The first row of enemy ships faltered, their systems disrupted by the subtle but powerful pulses. The alien woman hummed, her melody guiding him, synchronizing with his intentions. Ryland realized that their combined focus could amplify the crystal's power beyond its normal limits. Together, they could influence not only the immediate environment but the energy systems of distant ships. Ryland closed his eyes briefly, letting instinct and imagination guide him. He visualized a wave of energy that would communicate a single, clear message to the alien fleet. Humans are not to be underestimated. The effect was immediate. The alien ships hesitated, scanning for threats but finding none. Their movements became cautious, defensive. Energy weapons powered down, engines slowed, and sensors flickered. It was as if the fleet recognized a force beyond their technology, something unpredictable, something alive. Ryland opened his eyes, focusing harder. He could sense the alien fleet's surprise and uncertainty. The crystal allowed him to send more than just energy. It transmitted understanding, intention, and a subtle warning. The aliens had underestimated humans, but now they were learning the lesson the hard way. He glanced at the alien woman. Her eyes shone with approval and her hum resonated through the cabin. KAI translated her intention imperfectly. Strength, courage, human heart. Ryland smiled. She was right. Humanity's strength was not just in machines or weapons, but in creativity, courage, and unpredictability. That combination was exactly what the crystal responded to. The alien fleet regrouped, but Ryland was ready. He sent a series of precise energy pulses toward key ships, temporarily disabling their propulsion systems. Ships drifted helplessly, unable to maneuver. Others faltered in formation, confused by the human-controlled energy waves. KAI's voice was full of excitement. "Captain, your command of the crystal exceeds expectations. You may be able to assert dominance without firing a single shot." Ryland nodded. He focused on the largest ship, sending a pulse that gently pushed it backward, away from the planet. The alien fleet observed, cautious but attentive. They realized this was not an act of aggression but a demonstration of power, a force that demanded respect. The alien woman stepped closer to him, her hum steady and guiding. Together, they amplified the energy, creating a protective dome over the planet that extended far beyond the ship. Any attempt by the alien fleet to attack was nullified, their weapons ineffective against the human-controlled energy. For the first time, Ryland realized the full potential of the crystal. It was not just a gift or a tool, but a symbol of partnership and trust between species. The aliens had captured her to exploit power, but the crystal had chosen a human to wield it creatively, unpredictably, and courageously. Humanity had proven its worth. The fleet slowly began to retreat, recognizing that the humans were more than capable of defending themselves. Rylan kept the energy dome active, ensuring no sudden attacks could penetrate it. As the last of the ships disappeared into the void of space, he finally relaxed slightly, the tension leaving his shoulders. He turned to the alien woman. Her glowing eyes reflected pride and relief. She spoke a few words in her language, melodic and soft, which Kai translated. "You are worthy. You are human." Rylan felt a deep warmth in his chest. The crystal, the alien woman, and their shared connection had allowed him to achieve what no human or alien alone could have done. It was a moment of true HFY, a triumph of human courage, ingenuity, and heart. As the night deepened, the planet's surface glowed faintly under the red sun's afterglow. Rylan and the alien woman sat quietly in the cabin, the crystal pulsing softly between them. It was a reminder that their partnership was only beginning. "Thank you," Rylan said softly. "Not just for the crystal, but for trusting me." She tilted her head, humming a gentle note. Kai translated, "Trust, choice, together." Rylan nodded, understanding the depth of her words. The gift she had brought him was more than energy or knowledge. It was the chance to prove that humans could rise to challenges no one expected. And with her guidance, they could explore the galaxy together, forging a future full of discovery, courage, and collaboration. Outside, the red planet remained silent, vast, and unchanging. But inside the cabin, a new story was unfolding, one of partnership, trust, and the undeniable power of humanity when combined with intelligence, courage, and creativity. Rylan looked at the crystal, then at the alien woman. He realized that they had created something far greater than a defensive shield. They had created a symbol of hope. It was proof that humanity could stand shoulder to shoulder with the stars, facing threats with courage and ingenuity rather than fear. As the night stretched on, Rylan prepared the ship for departure. The alien woman remained close, her glowing presence a constant reassurance. He checked the navigation systems, plotting a course for uncharted regions of space where their skills, curiosity, and courage would be tested further. Before leaving the planet, Rylan took a moment to look back at the barren, red landscape. He knew that humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer passive. They had proven themselves capable, resilient, and inventive. With the crystal and the alien woman as allies, there was no limit to what they could accomplish. As the ship lifted off, the crystal pulsed brighter, resonating with both Rylan and the alien woman. It was as if the gift had recognized its new purpose, to guide, protect, and empower them both. The stars stretched out ahead, full of unknown worlds and adventures, waiting for humans to make their mark. In that moment, Rylan felt a profound sense of achievement. They had faced the unknown, used creativity and courage to overcome impossible odds, and forged a bond that would shape the future. Humanity had not only survived, they had triumphed, proving that their unique qualities could stand against forces far more advanced than themselves. The alien woman hummed a gentle melody, the final note lingering in the cabin like a promise. Rylan smiled, knowing that this was just the beginning. Together, they would explore the galaxy, discover new worlds, and face challenges no one had ever imagined. And somewhere in the vastness of space, the alien fleet would remember the humans who had dared to defy them, not with sheer strength, but with creativity, courage, and heart. The crystal pulsed one last time as the ship soared into the stars, carrying the human and alien partnership forward into a universe full of infinite possibilities. Humanity had truly arrived.